Introducing the Poet Life Podcast. Go check it out today on your favorite platforms, including iTunes, Apple Music, and the website, thepoetlife.com.
Find a way, find a way.
Hey, this is Christoph Wrights, one half of the Poet Life Podcast. I say one half because my brother, and I say my brother because he's also my frat brother, J. Rod D. He's not here today. Unfortunately, he has a death in the family, so please send your prayers his way. So he'll be back on with the next episode. So again, please, send your prayers his way, as it was an abrupt, literally right before this recording, he sent me a text message and say, bro, I can't be on. So totally unfortunate, and we're praying for him. But right now we have our veteran brother, E Baby. Super excited to have him on, and it's an honor. Listen, for those of you who know who this gentleman is, it was a key component to have this gentleman on. And for those of you who don't know him, you'll get to know him right now. E Baby, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, bro. I'm real good, man. I appreciate that intro, man. You
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you ain't put too much sauce on it, so I appreciate that. Sometimes they get too
Yeah,
saucy,
some people want a whole lot, but some people are like, man, just say my name,
Yeah, man.
So I just kept right there in the middle. You know what I mean? We're gonna get to all the accolades all throughout here. You know what I mean? So it was just like, why have me say it, and we're gonna talk about it.
That's what's up. Yeah, but now I'm good, bro. What about yourself, man?
I can't complain, man. This is Monday, the day after Father's Day, and so Father's Day was great for me. I have 3 daughters, 5 and under. It was relaxing, but it was also work, so I can't complain on my end, man. Oh, do you see the bags? I'm tired, man. We're recording this podcast. What is it? 9:08 p.m. As soon as this is over, I'm about to go lay down, man. But no, I can't complain, man. I really appreciate you, carving out some time. You were just on a Facebook Live. I know you're busy.
Yeah, man, bouncing around, promoting, myself, keeping the poetry going on in the community.
There
you go. Just having fun. I'm also promoting a youth open mic live that I'm doing, but we'll get into that in a minute. But what's
man, I'm writing it down.
Me, you say thank you for me opening up time. Nah, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. I thank you for opening up time for me to let this out for young poets to learn. So it's more of a thank you coming from me, bro. Appreciate you.
Most definitely. So let's jump in, man. Let's start at the beginning. When did you start writing poetry?
All right. Business wise, well, of course, I was a kid. I was a kid writer, teenage writer in the 20s. But business wise, it happened 1998, 99. That's in 99 is when it got real serious. But it kicked off
early 20s, late teens. What?
Let's see, that's late 30s. No, I'm sorry, late 20s.
Okay.
Late 20s. Okay. So I've been doing it for a good 20-some years now. So I'm 51 now. Yep.
Awesome, man. 51. You don't look like no 51, man.
That's from my mom's side. I give her credit. Mom's side, they still.
Now you said late 20s, right? Yeah. Now let me ask you. That was the business side of poetry. Were you trying to figure out, like in your mid and early 20s, how to do the business side of poetry? Did it take a while to figure out that there is a business side to poetry, or
it just fell in my lap? I didn't look for the business. I was that one who just liked to write.
Nice.
Before I knew it, there was a poetry scene out there. Jumped on the poetry scene. the radio station WPGC, they got me started. Ran into an agent, and it just shot off from there. So I was nowhere looking for the business scene at all. It's when your friends say, "Yo, you can do that. Go out there and try it," and you go, "All right, yeah, we'll see."
Right.
It had to happen to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Yeah, destiny, and understanding that when you say you understand the gift that was given to you, that's when I guess I realized it. You know, say, okay, this is a gift, and people want to hear it. I might as well stop being shy like I used to be and just go out there.
Well, okay. So then, how long before then were you writing and displaying that you were a writer?
Whew.
Did everybody know that you were a writer?
No. The only people who knew the only person who knew that I was a writer was my mom. She knew from the beginning. As a kid, I was one who wrote but didn't like people to read it. She would want to read it, but I wouldn't give it to her. So she had this plan to, okay, won't you mail it to me? And I'd get it in the mail. You don't know when it's coming in the mail. I'd get it and read it.
Wow.
So it was to trick me into getting people to read it. So I love to write, but it was the letting it out part that just that was the hard part. That was the hard part. I wasn't shy because I'm a stage person. It was the acceptance. You know, I can act and have fun, but I'm about to get serious and personal, and you're about to critique it. I wasn't ready for that yet.
Okay. So were you doing open mics and things of that nature? Like how did PGC, and for those who don't know and are not in the DC area, that's a radio station here in the DC area. I'm just trying to put the two together, right?
Right.
Yeah. How did it fall in your lap?
One night kicking it with the fellas.
Okay.
PGC. It's WPGC 95.5 in the DC area. We call it
right. Right.
PGC. They would party from 9 until 10 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock it was normally slow jams. But on Thursdays it went to poetry. Well, me and the fellas just kicking it, listening. They left out the house. I never changed the station, and poetry came on. I listened for that first night, and I wanted to be on the mic from that point on. So I wrote, kept writing. I didn't want to put out the stuff that I had. I wanted to write more stuff. Called in. That first time, Justine Love, the radio host at that time, she told me, "You're not ready." She said you were reading. She liked the poem. The poem was titled "Am I Racist?" And she liked it, but she said she wanted me to perform it. She made me come back the next week because you do it on the air first. It wasn't just live. So she listened to it.
Right.
Made me go a full week. I was hot. I was mad. I was like, okay, you gonna put your boy on the spot like that. And from then on, she woke it up out of me.
Okay. Yeah. Got you. That's interesting, man. Wow.
That was it.
Wow. Justine Love. That's awesome. Okay. All right. So since we're still at the beginning stages, where did you get your name? I know you get that question a lot. E-Baby, where did you get your name?
Man, from work. My boy Brian Noah's Nana. We're Biggie fans. So when Biggie first came out, it was always Biggie Baby. My real name is Eric.
Gotcha.
Got a lot of Erics around the job. So we got who still works there, my man Big E. They had Big E and Little E. Little E doesn't work there anymore. So my man Nah would go around and call me E-Baby. E-Baby, Nah, baby. Just happened to click. They started calling me that. I just took it to the stage, man. That's the honest truth to it. It's crazy.
It's so interesting where, people get their stage names, man.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Good stuff, man. So now you're taking off. You got your stage name, right? You flowing and going. You have an agent now. So tell me about the agent life, right? Like having an agent, because some people say they want an agent, do you still have an agent?
Yes, yeah. Tracy Wiggs.
Okay.
Just Wiggin Entertainment. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. So have you been with that agent since the beginning, or you kind of switched over?
No, he's the reason I became business. He was the reason I became business. I knew the business aspect of, hey, open mic feature, $50 to $100, get whatever you can, whatever you want to do. But I was invited to VCU by a poet.
Okay.
She was putting on the show, and I was offered $300 to perform, and I was like, 300? Oh,
Really?
bet I'll be there. I jump in my car.
Wait, did they offer it to you, or did you say that's my price?
No, that was the offer. The offer was 300. Okay. To me, that was big because I'm new in the game now. This is 99. So we're talking about just a year in the game.
Right.
I go, and she was actually putting on the show for the agent that I met for Tracy Wiggs. Tracy Wiggs. Yes, Wiggins. Tracy Wiggs. So after the show, his thing was, how much did you make? And I said, well, she offered me, 300, and it made him mad because the amount that he gave her, he felt she robbed us. We should have made a good. I can put it out there now. He gave her $4,000 to bring up 4 poets. She brought up 3 of us and offered us 300 apiece. He learned this lesson, broke it down. Yeah. So a lot of that money she didn't get what she thought she was going to get once he talked to us. Well, anyway, man, he loved my show. I went up there, I did 4 pieces, and he said, have you ever thought about traveling? Have you ever thought about doing the college shows? And again, no, never thought about it. And that's why I learned that I had to invest in myself, because he showed me this entire platform, but I needed the money to get into it. So when we get into that, I'll talk more about the NACA and the thing. But yeah,
I was going. That's why I was writing down.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. NACA. Okay. All right. So since we're at the place where we're talking about agents, and I'm gonna bring this title up real quick. Valuing ownership and becoming your own manager, right? So what's the difference between an agent and a manager?
This is what he taught me. An agent, you can have an agent who puts on shows, and you can have a manager that manages your career. And a manager can also find shows, but an agent is the one who puts on shows, or will actually the one that finds shows. The manager is that one that books your flights, make sure things are taken care of, will pretty much be your yes or no person that you're going to pay 20% to say yes or no for you. Me, I can say I was lucky, and just growing up, I put it on my father. My father was very business minded in his limousine business, so I learned to speak for myself. Tracy taught me that he was going to be my agent, and if I were to have a manager, that's more money coming out of my pocket. An agent was 20%, a manager could be 20%. So at that point, at the end of the day, I was only going to get 60%. He said, man, in this business, the only thing you have to do is book your car, book your hotel, and book your plane flight. He said, if you want to go on vacation, you can do that yourself. And so he taught me to take the responsibility of being my own yes and no person, because I can even say yes and no to him as far as the shows. And that was the thing. He was just finding the shows. He wasn't my manager, because my manager could say, oh, no, we don't want to do that show. We'll do another show. I'm my own manager to say. So that's where the two kind of differ.
Got it. Okay. Got you. Okay. That was, and I think a lot of people get those mixed up, so that I'm glad you broke that down for us. So how's how's your agent doing for you now? Is he keeping it consistent? Is
Well,
it flowing quite well for you?
oh, bro, it's not even, it's not his fault. When I first came into this game, the 20 years ago, it was maybe myself, George, and me, and another poet that was really doing the college circuit. Once other agents saw us making all that money and then hitting these colleges, they switched from comedians, because comedians and singers were the main ones getting the money on the college circuit. No one thought the
Right.
poet could make money, and that's why I'm glad you brought this on. That
Yes,
platform right
sir.
there, way for a poet to make money. But yeah, he's still doing this thing now that we have this COVID situation. We sat and we talked how they're maybe broadcast to schools now. You know, where they
Gotcha.
schools have their own TV channels, so we can broadcast into that
Yeah.
TV channel on their campus and
Nice.
that way. So it's a lot of avenues that he's working on it, and it's still getting that money going. That's his paycheck.
Gotcha. That's good. Well, let's kind of transition a little bit, since you, and this is how we're going. This is how this conversation is going to go. We're going, and then especially when you bring up something like the college tours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just spoke about they were focusing on singers and comedians. All right, so this is where you come in as the poet. And we know that comedians, they can do, they come in with a set, right, of jokes, just jokes on jokes on jokes, right?
Right.
The singer obviously has songs, but their songs may last 3 to 4 minutes, right? So that gives them enough room to make a set.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does the poet make it engaging to a crowd of 500 to 1,000, or however many people are in that stadium or room for colleges?
Number one, it's a 1 hour set. You're up there for an hour. If you go a little more, that's on you. I've averaged 11 to 12 poems within that hour.
Okay.
I talk about myself. I talk about the history of poetry. I talk about Maya Angelou, Gil Scott-Heron, people in the DC area where I'm from. So I spread out my show by giving them more than what they came for.
Got it.
But still giving them poetry. The thing to this is these conferences, when you go to these conferences, you are auditioning in front of a whole bunch of schools. Let's say it's broken down to 7 regions.
Oh.
So yeah, let's say
okay.
the southern region can be Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas. So you might have all these schools, and let's count North Carolina, South Carolina. Yeah, anyway, all these schools would migrate to this one hotel. You have 10, and it depends on how much you pay. You can pay, you're paying for a set to be on stage and at a certain time. They have certain time slots where it's called the poetry set, and you might go in there and it's a little small conference room, and it could be maybe 50 people. If you really want everybody to see you, you want to pay for the dinner set, you know, and this stuff costs $2,000-3,000 to get on this stage. The reason is if you're selected, you can get 5 schools at the least at 5,000, at 1,000 apiece, with hotel, everything, and it's included. Now it's one thing too. When we talk, you gotta say, "Yo, E, hit the brakes, come back," you know, because
No, you're good. Go.
Cool. So yeah, the conferences, they're wide open. You go there and you're performing in front of all these schools that's going to come there that day. You're showing them in 10 minutes that I can give you a show for an hour. So I just have 10 minutes to do my thing with at a 2-hour set. And it's comedians, magicians, singers, all types of performers, including me as a poet that's fighting to get these schools to pick me to spend your money on me, because every college and university has money to spend. It's that
so the universities, they come there to shop
yes
and find their acts and inventory of art to
yes.
present throughout the school year.
Yes, you know how they have on-campus events where you might go and it's all this adult bouncy stuff going on in game. They're at these events too. They are there too to show these universities, hey, bring us out and we can have a good fun day and things like that. Everything is there. Everything is there, and I mean, you're talking over. I may be one of 12 poets, and there are 500 acts over a weekend, and these students are coming and they get bored of seeing stuff. Sometimes they won't go to certain things, but they all eat. Everybody's going to eat. So you got to get those dinner shows, but they're expensive. They're very expensive. So yeah, that's how to draw it back, you're performing hard for 15 minutes just to get their attention. And sometimes not even that. It could be 12 minutes, depending on which one of the conferences you go to, just to show them that I can give you an hour-long show. And you go up there and you give them your hottest piece. You know, talk a little bit, do whatever.
Who puts these conferences on?
I'm going to spell it for you. N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, C as in cat, NACA. The other one is APCA. A as in Apple, P as in Paul, C as in cat, A as in Apple for someone's just listening. APCA. NACA was the largest one. APCA was a guy who broke away and started his own. But they're conferences that you first audition for them. You don't just send a check and you're on stage and you're good because you send a check and all that. No, they want to make sure that you're good quality entertainment that they're going to put out for these schools. That's because they're spending their money for you to come in. So those two things there. So when you have an agent, that Tracy's been in that game for a good 30 going on 40 years now. Relationships with the schools, a lot of Black schools, things like that. And yes, sometimes the prices may change. Not every school would be, $1,500 to $2,000. And the beautiful thing is, once they sign you, I can go there, man, and it can be one person at the event. I went and there was one. I went, bruh, and it was a coffee shop. I thought nobody would show. The lady showed me all the signs she put out. For some reason, they just didn't want to come to this poetry show. None of the students. Guy walked in, said, you know what? I'll stay. I did my whole show in a half an hour because there was no talking back and forth. But I did it. I got that 1,500 and left. And you never know. You never know. I performed in front of a soda machine. You never know where they'll put you. It's not always going to be a beautiful stage. It's not always a big school. You have a lot of junior colleges that might bring you through. Tech schools that might bring you through. So,
but no matter the stage, you give the same energy.
The same energy. Yep, the same energy. I have a poem, Dada's Angel. For that guy, that's the first time I did my crying poem for just one person only. And I cried. I couldn't believe I did it. I mean, yeah. But it
because that one person could mean that one person is somebody major that who makes decisions.
You never know. You never know. But this was just a guy who didn't hear about the poetry show, walked to come get some coffee that night. The coffee shop was open. And he sat there. I stood there. The lady who brought me in, she stood off to the side. And the gentleman in the back making coffee. So, yeah, it was it.
Wow. Okay. So you said $2,000, $3,000. Is that money that you have to pay to audition or the colleges pay to get into the conference? Who's paying what?
I don't know what the colleges pay. What you pay first is a submission fee. Hey, I'm gonna send my poem. This is my DVD, my application, my bio. This is my press kit. $50 non-refundable. If they like that,
okay,
say,
$50 for the application.
Right. If they like that, then they say, okay, well, we have these different stages and platforms that you can perform on. You can get the 8-minute stage. That could be up from $500 to $1,000, or you can get the dinner stage, which is your $2,000 to $3,000 show. This is what you pay because, as I said, if you're selected, you have a good 5 schools that's bringing you in. Now I'm adding my plane ticket and hotel. So $2,000 is really to be on stage, to get there. This is me being a manager, knowing how much what I need to perform.
Yeah.
So yeah, plane ticket, hotel, and the actual stage was I say $1,500 to get on that main stage. You either do a good show and get some schools, or you bomb and that's 15 out. But that's the investment that you do. And that's
15 out.
That's 15 out. Yeah. You hope you get one school. You hope you get one. Now, what happens from there is these schools, they go into a room and then they start to bid. That you can have one school say, hey, we'll bring you for the whole 1,500. You might have some that will block you. You know, okay, well, we'll get them for, let's say 3 schools want you. One will pay for hotel, one will pay for travel, but they all will still pay for that main 1,500 block that you're asking for. So it's certain ways that if they do block, it could come down some. That 15 might go to 12, but that's 12 3 times now instead of just one 1,500. So it works out where you don't mind schools getting blocked. But that's my agent in there working that game and getting them going to say, okay, we can get here, we can go there, we can do this, we can do that.
So who and what told you that you had what it took to get one to win them over, but also what inspired you to put up the $15,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 and invest in yourself?
I'll say this first. I invested in myself the second time around. Who told me was my agent. He actually said, I have never seen anybody do a crowd. He was all comedians. He's been on the stages and he hasn't seen a poet grab the audience. And he said, I'm going to pay for your first time. Your first show that you get, you pay me back because I know you're going to get some shows. You pay me back. And from that point on, everything else is yours. So it was actually him. That's why he pulled me to the side. He wanted to know how much she gave me. He wanted to know where I was. Did I have a manager? What was going on in my career? And I said, I didn't have. He said, okay, this is something here. It's money for him. I mean, when you look at 1,500, that's 300 every time for him. That's just for setting up a show, you know.
Right.
It's not just me. He has all these comedians, you know, D.L. Hughley. He had Bernie Mac. Everybody that all the colleges, Brother Tracy Wiggs, ladies and gentlemen, look him up. When we get to the Q&A later on, you all want to talk, I will bring him up. And, you know, we're still putting poets in the arsenal to cornerstone this. But to answer your question, it was him, bro. He believed and trusted what he saw. That was an investment for him. So I became an investment for him. And he taught me to then turn around and invest in myself.
Wow, you just threw a bomb right there, man. Wow. So first of all, take yourself serious and take your craft serious. And if you do that and stay consistent in doing that, somebody else will see that you're serious and take you serious.
They say you never know when you're going to run into somebody. They'll tell someone, don't always worry about music. But somebody say start singing. Somebody say bust a poem.
Right.
Bust a poem. You never know. And that was my never know moment because I just went to go down there and get $300 and come back home. That's all I went down for. I went down there and got an agent and came back, and that was, I would say, in September of 99, 98.
Yeah.
Then 99. That's right, 98. And then 99, when we came around, it was in April when we did our first Southern show. And I was surprised at what I saw. I was surprised at the love I was getting. And another thing is, to be honest with you, it's marketing. He knew that we're out here, and these are all predominantly white schools. Nothing but white schools. Bruh, my February was packed. And it wasn't the fact that I was doing Black history. It was just the fact that you had Black entertainment coming to these schools.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, that's what he also saw. He saw a lot of things there, which I didn't. And he said, wait till February comes. You're going to be going to all these white schools. You'll see. And it's just for that.
Wow. But he also saw, because he has an eye, that it's something different. And everybody is looking for something different.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody's doing comedians. Everybody's doing singers. All right, we're going to throw this poet in the mix, but he can do it. He can hold his own. He'll hold his own with the singers and the comedians and the rappers or whoever else.
It was honestly seasoned here in DC. It was starting out with slams, and you got to be serious when you slam. With UGC, I was opening for Michelle DeGale-Cello, Music Soul Child, before the colleges. So to have that feel and already be ready to go, it was, I guess that's what you say, God's plan to say, okay, let me let you do this, give you a taste of this, taste of that, and now here's the whole meal.
Yeah, yeah. But even before that, your mom saw it in you, and she invested time and love, obviously love, but support. That support piece is heavy, man.
Very,
just right. That's small. Why don't you mail it to me, and you won't know if or when I read it.
Yep. Yeah. and I'd say a few years ago, it was an interview that happened, and it triggered my memory. They were like, well, you didn't write as a young child. And it got me. I said, you know what? I did. I used to mail letters to my mom, and I had to call her and say, Mom, say, nah, that was true. Yeah.
Right. It's so funny. You brought that story up, a little story about me. I'm not a stage person. Like that's just not my passion, but I love to write. And so I said to my father one time, and it's not really about stage fright or anything, because with me being the head of Poet Life, I got to get on stage all the time. So it's not about stage fright. It's just like the performance part is the work for me. The stage is the work for me. The writing is the passion, right? So he said, why don't you, because I said, I love poetry and I love writing, but I don't want to perform it. And he was like, what if you linked up with actors and actresses who love and have a passion for the stage? And I said, what do you mean? He said, you just like songwriters write for singers.
Yeah.
All songwriters can't sing. Right. So now I put together poetic productions.
Right.
And that piece alone, kind of set me free. I was like, man, because I just couldn't figure out how I could get my art out there if I didn't perform.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, I was like, wow, that's awesome. So that piece right there, whether it's a parent or a friend, that support piece, man, is major. You just never know where it'll take you, man. So shouts out to your moms, man, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So the management side, right? We're just gonna keep flowing. So you're your own manager.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So are you putting systems in place so it's just a rotation? How does that work for you to where it's not cumbersome and a huge headache?
the huge headache is not arguing with myself, or not being
Right.
mad that again, me making that decision. One thing to poetry, they say you don't do your art for free, but you pick and choose on who you perform for free. There have been plenty of
Right.
times where, you know, I think if I had a manager, he would have said, no, we'll do this for $50 to $100. And me, myself, I say, no, 25, I can just get there and back. You're going to feed me. I'll look around. I've learned that, you know, I could also get promotions out of it. You know, if you give me a table to set up, or, you know, if I come and sell some of my artwork and stuff like that. Artwork. That's funny. I'm thinking I'm a painter. But you know, my poetry or my books.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the beautiful thing is just not arguing with myself. I've learned. I've watched cats with managers, and I've got a few managers upset with me and even wanted to talk to me afterwards. But it first became a money thing to this poet who came to me. You want to know how I did it, why I did it? This is this right here. So it's certain things where now, and without the agent, Tracy Wiggs is just my agent for colleges here. This is all just my money only. You have a manager all the time.
Right.
So
Right.
it's the
Right. Okay.
independence that I love. I love the independence of saying yes and no, when I'll go, and just working certain things.
Got you. And you're in the full mix as far as negotiations
Yeah,
and basically speaking for yourself.
yeah, that's it. That's honestly it. Poetry contracts are very easy. Most of them are verbal. All of them are verbal, almost.
Yeah.
But
Right. And
yeah,
then you just kind of get it documented.
exactly.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's a simple yes and no. It's a lot of simple yes and no's on what you would do. You got to put gas in the car. You know how much money you need to put gas in the car. It's
Right.
a lot of
Right.
responsibility that you put on yourself.
Okay. Okay. Now let me ask you, because so many people will say there's no money in poetry, and like keep that blanket statement right there. Um, how did you stay consistent and have longevity? Like you're talking about the '90s, and we even speak about the 2000s and stuff like that. So like, how did you, and how are you staying consistent and flowing in longevity?
Still learning, still writing,
Mm,
and not being stubborn. I've seen a lot of poets where I'll tell you what helps with longevity in poetry. Not letting the poetry crowd get to your head. Not letting these
right.
poet heads and everyone telling you, oh, you're making it, you the bomb, you the bomb. I've seen so many poets fall so hard because they're unable to take criticism. They're unable to be told,
Mm,
either no. They think when they walk into a venue, they're the hottest thing. They can't take one poet that night maybe had a hot poem and spit real hard
right.
and was even hotter than your feature. Um, being honest with myself, being open with the community. I didn't just stick with poetry. Being a mentor. In order to stay in this game, you got to give up what you have. You have to give up what you have.
Mm,
If I wasn't telling people about this, I wouldn't be able to move on. I wouldn't be able to keep hosting if I didn't mentor even how to host. I had to learn how to host the
right.
hosting game. So even that, as a manager, people have asked me, "Hey, would you host?" I've hosted 3 shows so far.
Got it.
I look for ticket sales. What your ticket sales? If you have a DJ, I know you paid the DJ, so I will at least start with what I get with busboys. Busboys, we put out there, it's online. I get paid $100 to
Yeah.
host 2 hours. I will never go
Yeah.
lower than that, but I'm going to look and see what type of event it is. I don't want to break the
Right.
person's pocket. I don't need to take all your
Right.
money just because I'm baby. No, let's work this together.
Right.
I'm gonna get some out of this. So
Got it.
that's where I'm able to find that balance.
Got you. So sounds like you've learned how to diversify and add skills to your resume. So you're a poet. Then you said, okay, I could also be a host,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's another bag, right? Because you at the event there are poets and singers and whoever else. But now the event planner can say, I can contact eBaby not only to perform but to host
Yep.
the
Yep.
event.
Or just the host only. I mean, you have people in the audience that wouldn't mind say, hey, I got this show going on at my job, or hey, this is going on. So yeah, it can be just word of mouth. And as a manager, you got to be ready to go. You got to have your phone and your calendar ready to go. Ready to go. So that's
Right.
another thing. I watch that double booking as a manager.
Right. Right. Do you use
Mm-hmm.
Google Calendar or what are you using?
Google Calendar, a paper and pen till I get back to the car. Whatever I get it going. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to make sure you get it down. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
as you said, that you said we are gonna stay right here as far as the making money part. That's where we were, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely there. It's definitely there. But I had to be consistent on change, learn to change,
Gotcha.
learn what I'm changing into. Even mentoring, you can charge for mentoring, but they
Right.
just want to know your skills and your advice and things like that. So, but you got to be ready. You got to be ready.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you got host, you got poet, you got mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're an educator now because you've learned some things, and basically you're passing it on. But it's now a part of your artillery.
Yes, and that
Yeah.
I can tell you how the mentoring and teaching came about. The colleges, I ran into a college where they said we would like you to then come in and speak to students for another hour. So at that point,
Right.
right
The
there,
workshops.
there
There you go.
I never threw a workshop before. I've been to many, but I've never threw one. I've never put one on, never thrown one. So yes,
Got it.
workshops, things like that. So it's in order to be relevant, you got to stay open. You got to stay open to what's out here and be prepared.
Right.
Me, I didn't chase it. I didn't chase to be a mentor. I didn't chase the workshops. I like them, and I know I can do them. It's
Right.
it's not in me. Yeah, the path that it's going, I'm kind of letting it flow, but I still have control of it as that manager part.
Got it. That's good. That's good. And I'm sure that helps a lot. Now that you have, different titles where now you can offer different packages.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not just I'm a poet. And I think it's so important for poets to hear because they're like, I just want to do poetry, man. It's like you said, humble yourself,
Right,
and continue to learn the lane you're in and find out the different streams of skills, but also streams of income that come from those new skills that you've gained.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said as far as those lanes, because you definitely have to study those lanes. It's going to jump right in your lap, and someone can tell when you're BSing them. Someone can definitely tell that you're just making up words and stuff like that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Can anybody, I guess, sign up for APCA and NACA and put their application in?
Oh yeah, anyone can. You the application. Yep, you can do the application. You just hope that you're selected. But yes, anyone
Got it.
can sign up for it. It's a lot easier if you have an agent, someone that's in that game. I've
Got it.
seen a few poets go through and a few singers. Just watch people I've learned. meeting throughout the journey, that they've jumped in and
Right.
did it themselves. And it was a lot harder. They didn't get as many shows. They don't know, that whole talking part, but they learned it. They did what I couldn't do,
Yeah. Yeah. Are you still on the college scene?
Yes. I'm still with Wiggs. Yeah. And that's the only person I roll with. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what's their plan right now as far as digital? Because everybody's going digital because they have to. But are they doing digital events?
That's what's happening right now. The thing is, how are they going to do it on campuses? And
Right.
what we're
Right.
doing is trying to hit them with the idea, so they don't have to think about it too much. Like, oh, we've already done
Yeah.
here at the school, just set it up, blah, and go for it. So yeah, that's the plan right now, is to really educate the schools on what's going on. It's just like I'll say it today. I think poetry saved Instagram once quarantine hit, because it's nothing
I'm
but
telling you,
poetry shows
everywhere.
That's it.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Versus is doing their numbers, they're doing their thing,
Mm-hmm.
but on the regular basis, on the nightly, even the morning, there's morning open mics.
Yes. You got the UK. I mean, they changed my schedule up so much, man. I'm staying up late so I can hit the West Coast open mics. The UK, they might
Right.
come on, and I'm staying up late, or I got to get up early. But yeah, man, it's this whole platform is so new and different that you got to jump on it and learn it. So that's what we're trying to do with these colleges and universities. We're trying to show them that you can put a show on
Right.
over the internet with poets. Poets are doing it.
There you go. That's a new offering for the poet, right?
Yeah.
To say, hey, you all don't have to do anything. I'll put the event on for you.
Yeah.
And hey, say here's the program. I got the host, I got the artist, I got even the DJ.
I got them set up right
here's
here. You just need to
and
stream
here's
it to
my
your
price.
school.
That's it.
That's what it is now. That's what it is, to get the entertainment to the schools, so the students can still be entertained. And if this is this new way of entertainment, right there on your phone, right there on your laptop, right there on your computer, instead of the TV itself, or going to shows.
Right. No, you're good.
Instead of actually going to a show itself, that's what we got to do nowadays. So really, we as poets, we are practicing what the new wave of entertainment is going to be when it comes to. I mean, people are going to be happy to go out. People are ready to get back out to the streets.
Yeah.
They want to, but I mean, you're still going to be in a house. It's going to be that one night you're like, hey, so-and-so's on, like, your favorite TV show. It's going to be amazing.
But the biggest thing is, like you said, it's practice for the poet, right? For the artist. The biggest thing is, you now can become an international poet right now.
And that's honestly what I'm doing, bro. That's the way I feel, because poets now are dusting off old poems that they used to spit, and now spitting them over in the UK, and you're international now. Poets are slamming online.
So when the world opens up, they're calling you.
Yeah, you're an international poet now. Yeah, you're slamming online. You're adding stuff to your resume. This works. This works. Yeah, people are doing their own poetry shows.
So right, exactly. So what I'm understanding, and I hope a lot of people understand, is you have to change your perspective, right? Like, we were gearing up to go on a tour, and I mean international tour, Africa and so on, and some Hawaii, other places as well. Yeah, and at first it was like, man, like, are you serious? Like, flights canceled, all of that, right? And you're kind of blown at first, but then when you really look at it, I can still do the tour digitally and save money and reach more people.
Yep.
I can connect with poets in this country and say, hey, gather up all of your artists and just like it was going to be the Poet Life in Africa physically, it's the Poet Life in Africa digitally.
That's it. Yeah, digitally,
And then you can hop to different countries and different cities and different, man. So basically, change your perspective, man. Change your outcome, your outlook on everything, really, not just COVID-19.
yeah.
And you'll see that there is money in poetry.
I mean, we're making money now featuring online. Poets are paying money to feature online with their own shows. Busboys is paying features. I've reached out to Milk and Honey, black-owned restaurant, Java Cafe, a black-owned restaurant, to help them
Smart
promote their
man.
show. And it's to get them out there. But yeah, features are we're still getting paid. We're still getting paid right now online. And the thing about that is you're going to sacrifice a few things with this online. You're not going to make as much money because you're not adding the travel and all that. You're just basically in your own house. So the battle of pricing is going to start to happen. Oh, I've made this much or I'm making that much. That's going to be the next thing to go. But again, I keep telling everybody, stay true within yourself. The money you're going to make, it's going to happen. As I said, my poetry career compared to a lot of poets who were seasoned before I came out there, when I hit DC and they were saying, hold up, you're doing college tours. Where have you been? You're doing this, you're that. Poets can't make money doing that. Poets, how much are you making? I'm making this, I'm making that. But poets weren't ready to invest in themselves. Poets didn't believe that they should even put $500 in themselves to go make $1,000. I ain't gonna put up $1,000.
That's it right there.
Too much of a chance. It's there. It's there. So I brought under my belt through Wigs 7 poets on that journey with me to say, hey, look, it's here. It's here. Few poets. I just took them with me to do a show. Look, I'll pay you $300 to come up, do 2 poems just to get the feel of this, so you can know this is the money that it's that simple. So, it's we have to first believe that we can make that money, and then we got to believe that we can even invest in ourselves, because we're too busy looking for other people to invest in us, and we'll miss out.
Exactly. That's the first thing you have to do. First of all, believe in yourself, but to study the lane you're in.
Yes.
But then when you feel confident enough to say, I can run a show, I can put on a show, I can rock a show, but then invest in yourself. That part right there, man. Like, not too many people, especially poets, are going to put up 1,000, 2,000 for a possible.
A possible. That's the word.
Possible. Not gonna do it.
Nah, but I'll let you invest in me, and you take the possible chance. But I'm not gonna take the possible chance on myself. Then how do you expect to do it if somebody be quick to throw money with you and instead of throwing it all on you? Yeah, that's that possible.
Man, this is good. This is good. Before we close out, man, I want you to tell us about this youth open mic.
Oh, cool. Youth live open mic. Again, Instagram is nothing but adults online. And
right.
So I can understand you're not gonna have a 6th or 7th grader with an Instagram, but they're sitting there and they're watching their parents and they're watching their big brothers do it. Busboys, I was brought a young lady on, and her daughter, 7 years old, popped on the side, and she wanted to get on. And the kids, they were hyped. I told her, look, stand off to the side and I'll bring you back. Well, bro, she came back and she did her own little freestyle rap. She was very comfortable. And I said, you know what? This is Busboys platform. You don't understand how big it is. People are watching you. This is a good thing. And I said, it's time to just put it out there for them. So it's K through 12, comedians, poets, rappers, singers, musicians. For my designers, that they got 5 to 10 minutes. They want to show their little clothing thing they want to do, but it's to give the youth something to to get online and
Nice.
to push out for themselves. So it's on Instagram, Youth Live Open Mic, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. And yeah, this one is the next one coming up the next Tuesday, and it's just come on in, and it's for the youth only. I've had to turn some adults away because we ain't paying attention. We just open mic. Hey, what's up, baby?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Youth only. So
right. You didn't curse the kids out. You know?
So,
yeah. That's good. I like
is,
to hear that, man. Yeah, because we have Poet Life Academy. Yeah, and we focus on K through 12 to 12 ages 5 through 17 pretty much, man. And
I've been
we're gearing up to man. And yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So this platform alone is an example. Like you just told me, or you just asked me, or told me there's no money in poetry. All right, cool. I'm doing a podcast right now. Is there money right now? No. But podcasts make money. But are you willing to do it for 6 months consistently to a year, and then companies and organizations see that you're serious, like you said, that you're serious about what you're doing, because people are waiting for their friends and their family to support them, but their family is waiting to see how serious they are.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I had to learn that. When I start first putting on events and things, I was like, where are my but my family always came to my events, but like, where my friends and my college friends? They're all in DC, but it wasn't until like a year later, and they're like, okay, Chris is serious about this thing. They started to show up, even start to donate, and support. But at first I was mad. I was like for real. And that's why I got into it, because I was like, I knew, because I have a huge network, I knew they would come out.
Right.
And it was like, but the first one is always the big one, because it's like, oh man, it's exciting. But when you have something ongoingly, they're like, all right, I've been to that one already. I'll see you 6 months from now. You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
We can't expect them to come to everyone. That's what we learned. We have to, I got to grab more people. I got to get this out there known more, because if they were the only one to come, it wouldn't grow. It wouldn't grow.
Definitely. Yeah. But you got to learn it, man. It's trial and error sometimes, but if you have and can find a mentor like yourself, but even this podcast, if you listen to the people that we bring on, like, we're not just sitting here just having a conversation. Like, this is purposeful. This we're bringing on people with experience who made mistakes, gained accolades and awards for what they do, and we're having them, like yourself, tell their story. So the average poet doesn't have to try to figure it out themselves, because that's why I asked you earlier on in our conversation, when did you start the business aspect, and how did you figure out that aspect of poetry? Because it wasn't until, I'm going on 38 in October, and it took me till 30 to figure out the business aspect of poetry. I was Googling and trying to find out how can I make money in poetry, so it took me 30 years to figure it out, and because no one could tell me. Everybody was saying there was a millionaire that told me when he asked me, what did you want to be or do when you grow up? I said, I want to write poetry. Oh, there's no money in poetry, and so for a minute I put the pen down, because I'm entrepreneurial. So even though I love poetry, I was like, hey, I gotta get to this bag, man. You know what I'm saying?
I
So, but yeah, man. Yeah. So I had to figure it out, and it took a while. So I thought of this podcast and to bring people on to teach, man, and just be humble in a way, like you said, like you got to keep pouring it out. Got to keep pouring it out, man. So I really appreciate you coming on and being so transparent and open, and sharing your story. We're definitely going to stay connected. You know, love what you're doing. Always did. You know, I've always followed you. You know, even when I didn't know you, I followed you because because I know Orville the poet. That's
yeah.
how I knew of you, right? And so I was like, man, when I get a platform, I'm gonna bring him on. And here you go. You
Hey
know
man,
what
I
I'm
appreciate
saying?
it, bro. I thank you,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I always love to get a chance to tell my story for someone else to take it, to chop it up, and either take something from it, throw something away, or even just put something to the side. So yeah, I enjoy this part, man. This is the part that I know I'm gonna grow some more. I know I'm gonna grow some more.
Yes, sir.
I'm just making room. That's what I call it, making room for more to
Yeah,
come.
there it is. I'm glad you said that. I was trying to figure it out. It's when you mentor and teach, you're making. And if people understood that, they would teach more and impart in so many other people's lives.
Right.
You're making room because you're full right now of years of experience. But if you release
That's
and
so
make more room, you receive more.
That's why I tell them I can't move forward unless I give. I'm only moving forward because I'm giving. I'm at this point here. Take this now. What's next? Because if I stay right here with it, I'm stagnant on myself. I didn't just handcuff my own hands to this part of poetry, or this information that we're supposed to share information. We're supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and,
that's
and
the gist. That's the gist of reaping what you sow.
exactly. You got to make room for more. You got to let it out. You got because you're not gonna forget it. You're not gonna forget it.
When you hear that, we always hear the negative side of the quote, you reap what you sow.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We always hear that's the negative connotation of that quote, but don't really think that's it was probably originated to be a positive saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But folks are so negative all the time that when we hear it, we think of negative. If you do something bad, something bad is going to happen to you. You know?
Right. And we
But
put
that's
bad into it. I mean, you reap what you sow.
yeah.
If you plant seeds, you're gonna get some food. That's a good thing. You reap what you sow. So yeah, you're right. We just put it in that bad content and just
Yeah.
check it out of it.
Look, man, I can have this conversation
You
all
ain't
night, man.
we'll be
And
extending
it's
it.
sometimes when you're having a good conversation, it's hard to cut it. You know what I'm saying?
It'll be
But
a part
I
two
think we got
next season. Next
oh,
season.
most definitely. Everybody, thank E Baby. Jump in the comments. DM him. You see, that's his IG. That's why we make sure we tell our guests not to just put their name, the government name. Throw your IG on there so as we're talking, they can find you. So please go follow E Baby Poems. Um, Man, he's a vet in the game, as you heard, since the 90s, man, doing some major things. Even then, doing different things on the radio, doing poetry. Like, I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna just keep on going, man.
We'll
Um,
pick it up again.
follow, follow the Poet Life podcast. Go to our website, thepoetlife.com. Even our academy, since we talked about the kids, Poet Life Academy. What's the name of that IG for the youth open mic?
Youth Live Open Mic.
No matter where you are in the country, in the world, go to that Instagram, K through 12. Get your kids in there. The kids are home. Get them on there. Get them writing, singing, even dancing. Let's get them active. and get that right brain moving and active as possible. That creative side. I know we're working on the intelligence and the reading and the writing. I mean, the math and all of that. But let's get the creative side. I think personally, creativity is the most valuable characteristic a person can have.
Yeah,
I'll say that. And I'm gonna leave that right there, man. So listen, this has been an awesome hour at the Poet Life Podcast. Thank you all for checking us out.
yes.
This is signing out, man. And we're praying for our brother J. Rod D and his family. Please do the same. Thank you all. Y'all have a good night.
Love you. Peace, bro.
Boom.
Introducing the Poet Life Podcast. Go check it out today on your favorite platforms, including iTunes, Apple Music, and the website, thepoetlife.com.
Find a way, find a way. Ain't get no time now. You in the way, I'm doing fine now. Out of my business. Find a way, find a way.